contracts and agreements. Certainly an area where most companies overlook until they sign their first deal and they scramble to get an agreement in place. What I'm about to give you is just the starting point and a reference that you can begin with to see how over the years we've condensed ours so it's simple, straight to the point, and includes the things to protect you and as well protect the customer. Okay, I highly recommend you consult with a legal counsel and apply this to your own business. This is not by all means to be your own endpoint and the final contract for your business. All right, so it's a document will be also provided via the material of this course. And you can see here, it starts with your branding, the company name agreement or your client name agreement. Then you have the word customer, very important. Don't change this because we have references to customers down the contract. And in the legal world, any the reference you make somewhere down the road needs to be addressed and defined somewhere else in this sheet. Then you have the contact information, address, phone, email. Have a deadline for your offer. Never give an everlasting and an offer that does not expire. Expiry dates puts a little bit pressure on the client to make a decision within a certain period of time. And whether you agree it's the right way to go about it or not, it's up to you, but provide a deadline because maybe in the future you increase your pricing, right? Then you list your services. This is just a sample here, which I'll be removing, but it is provided for you. You can list the services you're offering, just bullet points. Then you have monthly membership fees. Break down how you're charging them. So if you have a license and it's going to cost $1,000 a month. If you have a service, it's going to cost $5,000 a month. If you have, memberships to other software, maybe you have LinkedIn and so on that you're buying licenses for, then obviously you can use that as well. So this is where you have the breakdown of the fees and choose your terms. I like yearly terms if you are working out a deal with a client because it improves your long-term retention. You can make your money back. But if you are offering long terms, I do encourage you, give the clients a little bit of ease of mind and give them an opt-out period. Maybe they're unhappy with your service. Also, if you're month to month, then you just put in month to month, okay? Now here's the service if you have implementation involved and the scope of work that needs to be defined separately because scope of work can involve deliverables and both parties involved. I have defined it down in sheets. I'll cover it in a second, but this is just describing the scope of work. You can add here if you have additional things you're provisioning, but this is just a sample. This is the membership capacity. Now, whether it's a membership or service outline, just put them here in bullet points. I'm going to be removing this, but I just left it for this video. To understand this area is for describing exactly what they're getting. So this is it. This is page 1. You don't make it too complicated. You might be adding or removing things, but again, adapt it to your own business. The second part of the agreement is the agreement terms. Now, you don't want to take all your terms and services and privacy, but you should certainly hyperlink them from here. Put an area for the date, and you can see here the customer is defined based on what you have here. Have your address changed in these areas, vendor address. And again, reference back your own terms of services, okay? If it's an annual billing, how this will be settled, if it's monthly, one time, so you can specify the terms here. And any early cancellations, what are the consequences? Do they have to prepay for everything or do they have to pay a flat fee for opting out during the 12-month commitment? Okay, again, this is only if you're providing them with a commitment term. Here's the company name where they could sign name and title, okay? And these fields, by the way, if you are using some e-signature platform like eSign, HelloSign, or any of these, you'll be able to mark these as input fields. Now, here is where you can define scope of work if you have any. If you don't have scope of work, just remove everything. And you can see with this, we've condensed our contracts into just a couple of pages. Now, if there is a scope of work, just put it here. It's almost like a segment or subset of your agreement. Now, clients and contact name, the terms of services again, and what exactly the scope of work entails. Okay, I'll be removing this, but I want you to just have it as a reference, right? It's listed in bullet points. I have different calls and things that I need to deliver, and what are the underlying items on that agreement. Any obligations on the client side, schedules for deliverables, okay? Feel free to change these, and please set the client's expectations properly. You don't want to be over promising them and being late. If you need 30 days, tell them you need 40 days, giving yourself enough time for error. If you need 2 months, tell them 3, just to cover yourself. I always like to under promise and over deliver. Sorry. Then again, what's the cost for that scope of work, if any? It's probably defined above, but if it's priced differently, then you can just put it here. All right. This is it. Very basic, guys. Don't overthink it. Keep it short. You don't want people to spend a lot of money themselves helping you craft or sign the contract, because your client obviously have to pay attorneys to go over it. And I'm assuming you already have terms of services and privacy policies in place, in which case there will be some references to it. And there are so many online, you guys, you can find by just searching. There are websites like Rocket Lawyers and others that provide you with templates. But at the end of the day, having a legal counsel for very specific kind of case scenarios will definitely help. So this is it. This will be downloadable for you via our course material, and hopefully it helps you get started.